come back onto that sway, then you have a whole life of memory.
I am a solo dancer. I have devoted my life to recreating the dances of Isadora Duncan and other great dancers of the 20th century.
That whole circling.
Solo dancing has very little to do with dancing alone. There are many considerations on how to play a dance. The ripening of a dance, the change that takes place as a dance becomes familiar. Dancing a dance that has been around for a long time, not of your own time. How you shade a phrase, the dynamics that you use, the energies that you can play with.
That time, let it evaporate. That's it.
The space is a great consideration.
Beautiful.
That you're not just a body dancing, but that you're dancing in concert with space.
Now quiet. Pensive.
These are things that don't usually occur when you're working in a group, but it's a necessity for them to be realized when you're working alone.
That's right. So you want to start bringing nature into it and lose yourself.
Isadora Duncan was probably the grandest of dance soloists. She has left us a legacy of her dances, beautiful, direct works, simple and yet filled with amazing resonances. Isadora referred to the Brahms waltzes as the many faces of love. It is a portrait of a woman in many aspects of her life and in many aspects of her loving. She's the nurturing mother, the seductive mistress, she's the loving companion. There are all of these elements. The beginnings of our modern dance history is an expression of solo dancing, an affirmation of the individual, and in particular, an affirmation of the individual woman. It's amazing to think that women were not only taking center stage, they were taking all of the stage without any support from men. Unlike Isadora, most dancers danced about something or transformed themselves into other beings. For example, Loie Fuller, with her voluminous skirts and her magical lights, turned herself into fire or a calla lily or a butterfly, while Ruth St. Denis created an exotic ambiance in which to work. And Mary Wiegmann was interested in magic. She used masks and costuming through which she could explore the darker side of her nature. But all in all, these were theatrical expressions. Isadora, on the other hand, always presented herself. While others made dances, Isadora was the medium for dance. Dance itself came alive in Isadora. Isadora's dances are made up of a language of movement that we use every day. It's a common language. Anybody seeing it could imagine themselves getting up and doing what they're looking at. Running, skipping, walking, jumping, twirling. The art is in the transcendence of the daily into the sublime. It's the way that a poet does with our daily language. He's able to take it and shape it and form it so that we are responding to it in a special way.
Garrick Ohlsson is a concert pianist. His repertoire includes many of the pieces to which these dances were choreographed.
When I first began to work with Garrick, I was apprehensive that I might not be able to match the bigness of his playing. It presented a challenge, and working with him stretched me.
She had known my work, and I had seen some of her work and admired it very much, and I said that this is a very unusual sort of thing for a concert pianist to be doing, but I was very happy with it. In working with Annabelle, the great joy was that music has primacy in her approach. The ear comes first, you see, which is a musician's prejudice, of course, because after all, the musical works that I play, they're not written for dance. Working with Annabelle is like working with a musician. In other words, she doesn't say, I've got to have this slower so I can do this. She says, could we perhaps just take a tiny little bit more retard at this transition because I think it sounds better that way, or she might even say, because I need just a millisecond just to get to a certain portion of the stage.
Just in there, just
Yeah.
in there. If you can take a little bit more marcato.
All of that in the return? Or did I rush you a bit there?
No, I didn't.
And I also contribute, I would say easily, on a 50-50 basis, saying, I would like to do this here, what do you think? And she can actually make changes in her own dance. In other words, her dance form is reactive, and it's interpretive of the music, and not fixed, and therefore it's a living thing. It's not a preformed piece of architecture. The Isadora dances are extremely romantic, and they're incredibly generous and incredibly emotionally open. And I think these are qualities that, while not foreign to me or to the music I play, are qualities that don't really go in our age so well. And I think it was emboldening and encouraging to untighten, to unglue, to come free, to give more, to be even more generous as a musician. And I think that's one of the principal things I've learned in working with Annabelle.
That's great. drawings of Isadora have been very helpful to me in working on her dances. They have helped me understand the dynamics of her movement. Since there are no films of Isadora dancing, the only records of her performances are in the drawings. When I look at the drawings of Isadora, I'm sensing the reaction that artists had of her rather than the actual pose or picture of her. It's the energy that I feel in the artist, the energy that she gave to them that they're then putting back into the drawing. And that's what I'm looking for. There's a certain consistency in all of the drawings of Isadora, even though different artists drew her. It's the way in which she used the frontal pull in the body, that whole oppositional pull of the upper body going in one direction and the legs going in another direction. This drawing, which is similar, interests me in the way the artist simplified his drawing. I use that to simplify the action in the dancing. This Walkowitz drawing is terribly simple. But finally, here in the Perrine drawing, there's practically nothing, just a few lines. And yet you get the complete sense of Isadora and the force she must have had in her body. So the paintings and drawings have been very, very helpful to me in reconstructing the works. In C minor was an interesting project because there was no dance there. I had only seen fragments of the dance, and I had to make the piece. I had to really reconstruct it from knowing other dances that were like it that Isadora had made. Isadora stopped dancing, and when she came back to her work had changed considerably. It became heavy. You couldn't find any steps in it any longer. The dancing expressed her darkest, innermost agonies, and I tried to use that. Feeling, of course, is that mixed in with this was the great loss of her own children. Isadora's children died in an automobile accident in 1913. It was the great tragedy of her life, and I think a lot of the dances that she made after the death of her children had that narrative in it. As though she used her own mourning for her children to embrace all children, all of the deaths that occur in war. She tended in her art to universalize rather than to personalize. Up. Releasing. Keep the head long and let the solar plexus open. I have seen the Isadora dances handed down, but by people who have handed them down, I think, too late. I wanted very much to pass on the dances as I understand them and as I interpret them at a time in my life when I was still very powerful in my performance of them. Up, right, beautiful, okay. I had observed the dancers that are working with me now in other circumstances. I saw them in performance, I saw them in class, I saw them in life. And I was interested in particular people rather than in particular dancers. I felt that their lives would feed into the work itself. Now I hear the voice. It's like your name is called. You're being singled out. Sarah's a superb dancer and a very spirited person, and I think that comes through in the dancing.
In my solo investigations, I had been on my own, and I hadn't really had classes available to me for a long time. So I think in that process, you can kind of work yourself into a corner and lose sight of a larger picture. And working with Annabelle, it became very apparent that there were large areas that I hadn't gotten into.
Now I'm a different person. That sort of magical thinking that children have when they play different parts. You must and I must. You must be so-and-so, and now I'll change parts and so, okay? Mm-hmm. So, when you turn here, you're somebody else.
For instance, I had the feeling that if you just swooped and dropped and swang your body around a lot, that you'd get lyricism. I find with Annabelle that swooping and dropping really lets things collapse instead of carrying the line or carrying the image or carrying the picture and expression through to a shape.
You're going forward instead of really a vertical, straight up on that.
Having been at dancing for 30 years, I find it a wonderful evolution.
Right.
And I feel almost as though I've spent all my career working toward this point of returning to much more basic work.
That's it.
It's very simple in its structure, but I think it's very complex in its underpinnings and its motivation.
Like those mad women in a frenzy. The frenzy, that frenzy of, I can't do it. I'd like to see it though. Isadora, in her art, was a democrat. There was nothing in her dances that someone watching could not imagine himself doing. Isadora offered her public the opportunity to love themselves as they were. She was their medium. Through her they could dance, and through her they could recognize their own humanity. We could ask of any art, why continue it, except that it speaks of man. When things are beautiful and people respond to them, when audiences are still responding to works, then they need to stay alive. keep the waltz. 1. And way down. Keep the feet light. And now very poignant, great search. Where is it? And this is where you get into the wild dance and the